Hey guys, Evan's coming at you. Super excited. Haven't seen you in a little bit, but want to talk about like how to get it all in when you're super busy. And forgive me for projecting. I'm so used to talking to the screen, and I have a mic right here that's picking me up. But I'm going to talk about that. I know it's a struggle sometimes, especially kids are going back into school. Work is still crazy for a lot of people. So I just want to show you what I do on a regular basis to get things done. I'm now back in Milford in the mornings. And then I'm there a couple of times in the afternoons. Bottom line, my schedule has, gotten a little fuller, for lack of a better term, and it's exciting. It's a lot of fun, but I have to make adjustments in my lifestyle to make it all fit in. So while Dan and I were doing our little Sunday chat, I chopped up some things, but it's game time to start cooking and prepping for the week. So one of the most important things to get done though is the heavy lifting when it comes to your proteins and your really starchy carbs. So I'm going to show you how I do that. One is this week I have to leave the house like tomorrow or typically on Mondays by 4:10. So there's no time to make this elaborate breakfast. So how I do it is I bake it. So in here I have like 170 grams of egg whites and two eggs. And then what I'll just do is, you know, um, scramble all that in together. I have a little bit of black pepper already in here while I was turning this on. I have my oven pre-cooked at 350 degrees. All right. And then I add any kind of goodies I'd like, in here. Now, one of the tips I use to ensure that when I'm cooking and doing this prep that I actually hit my macros is you'll see over there, I have a marker and a piece of paper. So if I don't already have it in my fitness pal, I'll just use my marker to kind of help me figure out what's going on. But I can just put it on the scale here, and I'll show you this cool trick. So what I'll do is I already chopped up some of my onions, kind of like the Food Network does. Everything's already prepped. So I chopped up one of my onions, but what I'll do is put all the onions on the scale, zero it out, and then I could just pull from that number, sprinkle that in there, and then boom, I have that, quantity is the negative amount. So I know I put 14 grams of red onions in this. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm in Milford by 4:40 in the morning. So I have my eggs set right here in these three egg bakes for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So providing my kids don't eat it, I'm good to go. And they're typically good at not eating it. My daughter actually taught me this trick. She uses Scotch tape and puts her name on stuff that she doesn't want anybody to use. So that's a nice little trick you can use when you're preparing food in the house. You know, now, while this is going, what I am also going to do is I have this pan here preheating because I have some turkey wrap, excuse me, bacon wrap steaks in there that I have to cook as well. So we're going to make some steaks with it, and I love it. This bad boy comes from Aldi's, and it's really cool. I wonder if you can get it in the light. Yeah, but it's bacon wrap steaks, but the macros on it is phenomenal. Only 9 grams of fat and 24 grams of protein per fillet in here. So that's a really good macros. So now I can have a bacon wrap steak, and for me, I need more than 24 grams of protein. So I'll do both of them for one meal, which makes that one meal awesome. Also, one other thing, as far as like a quick tip, is if you're younger, you can afford to have a little bit less protein. But let's say you're 35, 40, or older, or you want to cut weight, I would highly recommend that first meal that you eat, whether you eat breakfast or not, that first meal you eat does have a good amount of protein of, good high quality protein. So I'd say things like animal-based proteins in there, but at least 30 grams of protein in that meal one is going to really help you set on like the muscle building and muscle retention portion of your day, which is really cool. So I have all three of these. I'm just gonna throw some peppers in here. I mean, I have some green onions in here. I'm also going to do some scallions. They have hardly any calories, so just sprinkling a couple scallions in there for flavor is not going to really throw my numbers off at all. So I'll throw those in there. Now, the thing that I really need to track is my cheese when I put cheese. I also have chopped up some peppers. So I got some orange bell peppers in here. And I want quite a bit of pepper. So you can also just put the item right on here. And I think I'm going to put 80 grams of peppers in this. So it's going to be loaded with peppers. So that's 26, 40, 50, 64, 76, 78, 80. Beautiful. So this is going to look really pretty when it's all said and done. So that's 80 grams of peppers. And then I also want some cheese. And in my meal plan, I set aside, I got to turn the temperature down here. On meal plan, I set aside 30 grams of cheese in each one of these things in here. So I can just zero it out and throw some cheese on top. Beautiful. That one's 40, so I'm going to readjust that. And that's where my marker comes in. 40 G's of cheese. That even sounds great. And I'll show you, I could have pulled it off, but I love cheese. So that one's done, ready to go into the oven. Now behind me, I have the pan. It's fairly hot already. Because these are set before I go into anything else, I'm just going to maximize my time. And I'm going to put the baking side down and get the color right on the side. That is the sound of money. If you're curious, like what does money sound like in the kitchen? That's it right there. You're looking for that dice. Oh, that's love. So I'm going to have it do set here. I set a timer for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to rotate it on the sides to get it nice and caramelized on each side. So you get this nice, crispy, good-looking bacon in here. So back to the egg wash, to an egg set here. Boom, and then I got another 80 grams. I'm running short on pepper. 60, 70, 80 is a lot of pepper. 80 grams of pepper there. And then I need some cheese. We're looking for 40 on the cheese, 37, 39, 40 on the button. Beautiful. 2 down. That's Monday. That's Wednesday. And now we just need to get Friday done. So I got that in there ready. Just get some green onions in there. Some red onions in there. And then I'm out of peppers, but we can always get some more peppers, right? So that's 22, 27. So I'm at 30 and I need 50. So I'm just going to wash this pepper real quick and then grab 50 grams of pepper and put it in there. That bacon's already smelling so good. And I have 36 seconds, so let me just see what it looks like. Oh, it looks great. So I'm just going to turn it. This one fell, so I'm going to turn it up here. I don't want it to cook on the flat sides yet. I just want the sides to render down, and give me 2 more minutes there. So boom. So I'm just going to slice this pepper. I only need about 50 grams of it. So this is an easy trick. Boom. And now you know, hey, breakfast is done. And then when that's done, I have at least one meal down with it as well. Once I get this stuff in the oven, it's going to really open up my time some. So we're now at 43, 55, 62. Typically, one bell pepper is like 100 grams or 113, somewhere in that space. If it's a little smaller, then it'll be a little bit less in there. Don't worry, if you're a little bit off on your bell peppers, it's not going to throw your macros off by a bunch. Like this is 83 now. Life is great. So I'll put that away. And now we need some cheese. So feel free to ask questions as well. You know me, I love answering questions. 33, 36, 40 on the button. Life is good. So we're just going to pop these bad boys in. Later, when I take them out, I'm actually going to just post a picture that I'll attach to this here on Facebook so you guys can see what it looks like. But all three just go in the oven at 350, and I let it rock for like 20 minutes, to be honest. I've tried like 15 minutes and different things like that, but the 20-minute mark, it's like really cooked all the way through. And you don't want to, it's easy to warm up a couple days later. So now I'm going to turn my heat up quite a bit, and I'm going to put the steaks down on high heat for 2 minutes on one side, and I'm going to flip it 2 minutes on the other side, and then I'll cover it. So here, and I'll just use this timer button here. Timer, 20 minutes, start. Beautiful. So when the microwave goes off, we know that the other stuff is done. So that's there, that's ready to go. We'll clean up a little bit. And then we have to look at what else do we want. Well, we got some starchy carbs. A lot of times people are like, hey, what can I eat? There's a lot of beautiful things out there today. So you see something like this, you're like, what is this? It's called a sweet potato. You know, it's a Brazilian sweet or white potato it's called. So you can like look it up as white potato. It's really, really good. Also, this is that fall season, so you get a lot of like root vegetables. So this is a purple potato. So I'm gonna make myself a little potato hash, you know, or a little potato hash. You know, I was gonna call it something else, but that's what it's going to be. So in our house, there's a couple of flavors that we really, really like, and one of the big flavors in our house is garlic. So I'm gonna take some already peeled garlic and get some flavor working from that. What's up, babe? Muscle multiplier? It's not on the shelf in the back over there. Is I haven't touched it. I'm in front of these guys. Maybe Evans took it, depending what time you put it there. But if you put it there since you came home, I have no clue. So that's house talk here. Boom. So I have the garlic set up. This guys are good here. It's already at 19 seconds left. And that's what you want. So for this color, you want that nice, pretty steak color on there. No one likes to eat gray steak. Right? So you flip it, beautiful, on each side. Nice. That's our little timer. We'll set another 2 minutes, but this time, what we're going to do is when it hits the 2 minutes, we're going to cover it and let it rock on for about 6 minutes, and it's going to give us a beautiful medium rare. Now, earlier today, I made some butternut squash. So this is all Dana's food here, some butternut squash. So we're going to put this in a bowl because we're going to use this container here. And it's all nice and beautiful and has peppers in it and onions and garlic. And I sauteed down really, really nice. It's really cool flavor. Deal, you're welcome. I love you. Boom. When you have a nice non-stick pan like this here, you don't really need to go and rewash it to cook another potato on top of it. So I'm just going to wipe it down so it doesn't have all that butternut squash and onion stuff on it. But I do want to cheat and use some of that flavor from there. So I'll have a little bit on there. And it prevents me from using an oil or something like that. So at 50 seconds, I'm just going to check. Oh, it looks good. I'm going to turn down the temperature and cover it. So that's all I'm going to do, turn down the temperature and cover it. And now I'm going to set the timer. It says 5.5. We'll give it 6.5 minutes. And it'll actually cook down to be exactly medium rare. If you like yours a little bit more well, then you may add an extra minute. A little bit less, minus a minute in there. So those are running. So now what I want to do is just get this pan hot. And when the pan is hot, I'll throw my garlic to give me some nice garlic flavor for this little potato hash that I'm going to eat tomorrow. In the interim, I'll show you how I'm going to prep these potatoes. Now this is like a weird looking root vegetable. So what I'll do is just chop off all the ends here. And if you haven't tried it before, white sweet potatoes, like a white potato, is so good. It has a nice sweet flavor to it. A lot of people like it in soups as well. Really good in soups. In here, and then I just got my potato peeler, and I go to town. Don't worry about getting every single nook and cranny. You'll wind up peeling off the whole potato before you get every single thing on there. So it's no worries on that stuff. You just want the big stuff. Also, the smaller you cut your potato, the faster it cooks, right? So that's something to note. Like if you're short on time, then what you do is you cut it smaller, and you can cook it faster. You like that nice sear taste to it. You have a little higher heat, and then what you do is you can like steam the rest of it, like I'm doing almost with the steak here, to get it cooked at a faster time frame without burning your meat. I mean, burning your potatoes or anything like that. But I can take this, I can put it in the air fryer now and make, potato fries, in there, or stuff like that. And then I have this container over here to the side is just my trash can. So it just saves me from going back and forth to the trash can. I can just dump everything in here. Now for the white potato, I will cut off all this excess stuff in here because I just don't like it. But for the purple potatoes and the I normally just keep it on. And then I also, in my hash, I'm going to have some sweet potato in here as well. I like to wash everything, so be right back. But again, this is something I can make one time. I can put all of the ingredients and the quantity of the ingredients in my FitnessPal in the recipe, and then I could just say potato hash. Evans's potato hash is what I had, and then I could just say how much of it I had. So that's a great way to get recipes in when you want to do things that are like multiple ingredients, not just a steak in there. You just use the recipes. Now I don't need to use the recipes for my egg mixture because I accounted for the weight for each of those ingredients. So I'll just put each of them in there for my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday breakfast, and then that's done. Again, the mornings and the evenings on the nights before the morning of, I don't have time to make a breakfast, and I don't want to think about it. So now it's done, and then it's just a minute or two in the microwave, and it's perfect. For my carbs, I do eat carbs. For the carb portion, I like to have like oatmeal. That's a minute in the microwave, so that's pretty easy. And what sometimes I'll do if I don't want to eat it for something in the morning, I'll just bag it. I'll put the amount of oatmeal I want in a bag or in a container, and then I can just eat my food later in the day. But I have all my portions taken care of, so now it's just literally a pack and go scenario. So like homemade fast food in here. Just checking the temperature. That's feeling great. And I'm gonna throw. Oh, you heard the sound. That's the sound we're looking for. That nice little sizzle. And I have my garlic in here. This is good. And now what we're going to do is start chopping up these potatoes to get it going. I'll also cook some rice. Knowing me, I'll probably cook some rice. But lately, the family hasn't been eating as much rice. So I don't want to just make a bunch of rice just to waste a bunch of rice in here. I'm just cut off this little piece here. And now what I can do for the white potatoes is just weigh it. So before I chop it all up, I go boom. I have 559. So WP is my white potatoes at 5. Is that 59 or 89? 589 on the white potatoes. Beautiful. Then I can just go to town and just create them in, like I like mine diced, but you can do wedges, any way you like it. I just want it where I can stick a fork in it and life is good. But I want to be able to stick a fork in it and have like multiple different potatoes in that one fork, situation. So I'm gonna dice them up, not too small where they're just like an onion, but diced up pretty good in here. So All thing you do is come in and just slice it again. And because before you guys came on, I chopped up some. Oh, I used up all that onion. I'll chop up some onions as well to go in with these potatoes, and with the garlic to create that base flavor. So one of the most important things, at least for me, I realize when I'm cooking things like this, if I have that like foundation flavor laid out, then as I coat and layer in flavor is just super, super delicious. So I need something to put this in. We'll just use this bowl and throw all that in here. And probably all this will be done as far as my portion and over in less than, I'd say, 5 to 7 minutes. So my timer is up here with the steak in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. There it is. And all I do is take it off the fire now. Key with meats, whether it's steaks, pork, anything like that, you want to let it rest before you mess with it. If not, if you cut it too soon, it's like the pores are open and all the juices run out. And then by the time you reheat it, it's dry. So if you don't want dry food, you have to let it, rest and let those like pores close as the temperature cools down, and it'll keep that moisture in your food. That's just like a little quick, kind of tip in there. So potatoes, nice and diced, in there, and then now I'm gonna go after doing some onions really quick to go with this garlic. So onion, split that bad boy, boom, 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 and then let's just dice. Beautiful. That should be enough onions. But let's see. Let's get a little bit more onions in there. Let's do it this way. Get it this way. Therefore, when I cut once, I'm cutting twice. Nice. Looks like a lot of onions, but it's going to serve us through a couple days worth of food. And the garlic is beginning to char. Even with garlic, you don't have to worry about like if you use a lot of garlic. I'm gonna turn down the temperature on this because garlic is like the larger you cut it, the less flavor it is. The more you cut it, the more flavor is in there. And we have these scallions, so might as well use them. And it creates this nice little medley. So I don't know if you guys can actually see that. You can't, so have you join the party with us here. That's what it's looking like in the pan. So looking good in the hood. Awesome. So then now we have our sweet potato. Let's see how much that weighs. And we have 476 on sweet potato. So SP. And now I'm going to dice these as well. I'm going to cut them long first. Beautiful thing about having onions in front of you is that everybody gets a little bit emotional. Cut it long again. And if I was making fries, I'd be done. Here's all you need. You just throw them in if you're making fries, but not making fries, so I got a little bit more work to do. But it takes me probably about an hour to two, really on the high end, but really about an hour to get everything going and done for my week. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't have enough time, but it's like, you have 24 hours each day times 7 days a week. Can you spend 1 hour to prepare yourself that you're nutritionally sound for the rest of the week? And now the rest of the week is just a matter of like, at most 10 minutes of putting things together. Meaning, I'll cook some rice maybe, but if I do, I may decide one day I'm having a sweet potato. I mean, not sweet potato. I may decide I'm gonna have a different kind of rice on a different day. In there. I'll show you another trick, right? So I didn't really plan for oil, but I have enough fat that allows for it. So I take the whole bottle of oil, take off the top, zero it out, and then I could take out the top, pour out as much oil as I think I need. And I'm like, oh, that should be enough oil. Put it back on there, and that was 13 grams of oil. That's an easy way to account for your oil if you're going to use oil in a recipe. So just want, yeah. So I just want to show you a couple different things that you can do to make things work. So, oh man, the smell on this is so beautiful right now. We haven't figured out a way to do that via social network yet. So boom, throw in my sweet potatoes. Throw in my white potatoes. And the more color you cook with, the actually more antioxidants you get. This is not going to be that talk, but there's a lot of cool benefits to having multiple colors in your diet. Then I'll weigh a couple of these in here so I can figure out how much I need. So that's 1, 2, 3 of them gives me like 402. I should be good. And I just chop these guys and throw them in there as well. Now the purple potatoes they're a lot different than the others. So you can see it here. They're like more porous, a lot more water in it. So it actually cooks a lot faster than your yams and your your white potatoes would cook. You also have to be mindful, like the more you use of it, the more it's going to change the total color of the palette because that purple is like a dye. Now, don't worry about if it gets on your clothes, it washes out. But on your food, it's going to change the color of your food. So it is something that you want to be mindful of how much purple potatoes you're actually putting in, unless you don't mind everything turning purple. So it's similar to like how beets are. You put beets in something, man, and the color changes in there. Again, the smaller you cut them, the more of the flavor you're going to get out of it. There's some bad cutting, but life is good. Awesomeness. So this stuff is looking really good. I know on the Food Network you can't put your hand in there and do this, but I'm eating this, so I can do all that kind of stuff in there. I will season it, so for those who are like, man, you'll put any seasoning in there? Well, I did. I put a lot of seasoning. Those onions and garlic and scallions were seasonings, but I am going to top it off with a little bit more loving. Cool. So this is cooking really, really well. So now I'm going to take out this this bacon wrapped goodies and put in one of my little containers for the week. And there goes my bacon wrapped steak. So that bad boy sitting in here looking awesome. Now here's the deal. I have decisions, right? I got all this beautiful bacon fat and everything that according to MyFitnessPal I ate because there's no way of taking it out. So what I'm going to do is warm it up and split this into two containers. And the second one is going to have that nice bacon steak flavor tied to it. Why throw it away? I'm going to use it anyway. So I'm going to mix this in here and then throw some of that in here. So it's already pretty hot. I'm just going to share the love between the two pans. Now the base of this is a little hotter than I'd like to touch. And this, I want to cook it again initially on a higher heat so I can get that searing factor and get that crispiness, because if it's too low of a heat, I get a sogginess, and that's not what I'm looking for. But I have really good flavor and really good color happening in here. As far as seasonings, one of my favorites is this guy here. Actually, you can get it online as well as at the Camden, Wyoming market. You can get this like whole thing for 20 bucks and it'll last like forever. I use it on everything. I'm only up to half of it. Don't use too much of it, of course. But it just gives me some nice flavor pieces in there. Beautiful. And then what it doesn't have in there is some smoked paprika. But what it does have is, what is in this thing? It has in it sea salt, garlic, basil, rosemary, and black pepper. So that's what's in it. But then I want to add some smoked paprika to it because I love the flavor that that presents. And here's where you want to go super high on the heat. So that's done there. I got 16 seconds, and then I'm going to whip this out, and I'm done. So beautiful. So I'm right on time. This is here is done. The bacon is done. I have some chicken, but it hasn't defrosted yet. So if I'm not feeling like cooking it, I'm going to throw it all into the pressure cooker, and that'll be done in no time. Or if I do feel like cooking it, then I'll put it in the oven and it'll be done. So that's 20 minutes together of how, you can add a little bit more stuff to it. This is almost done. You get that little sticky portion, and that's what you're looking for because that means that it's all like crystallizing or caramelizing the sugars from the potatoes in there. And then, you thought I was going to eat it, but it's raw. So you're not eating that yet. But that's what you're looking for. I wish you guys could see all that. Here we go. Grab that camera and bring it over to them, please. Oh, oh yeah. So let me back it up a little bit. There we go. Nice. So that's what that's going to look like. This nice little hash that we have going. And then let me open the oven and just take out the Dana's playing with you guys. Take out this egg bake. And just by me doing this, you see how you guys can't see yet because there's too much light, but it's still wiggling a little bit in the middle. Okay. So let me try that again here. So you can see how that jiggles. Oh, you don't see it. Don't worry about it. But it jiggles. So it says it's not done yet. This one's a little bit more, a little bit less, I should say, and this one's about the same. So we're gonna give it about 5 more minutes in the oven, and it probably didn't cook as fast because there's 3 components that it's cooking from. So hopefully that helped you guys on how to do it. We're gonna put the rest of my fitness pal and just plan out the rest of our week. But we have the heavy cooking done, and it's just a matter of cooking some chicken, and we'll be good to go. Talk to you guys in a bit.